What's up YouTube? Leo Sheng with Mr. Tackle Box here, and today in this video we are going to do something really cool. In this video I am going to introduce you guys to the concept of the bottom float rig and also teach you how to rig it using the best rigging floats and the best fishing hooks. Before I teach you guys how to properly tie a bottom float rig, I really want to touch base with you guys about how this rig actually came to be, like how exactly did it originate, you know? And for me to do that, I really need to talk to you guys a little bit about the concept of a float. I mean, it is 2017 and nowadays everyone knows about the float, right? Not only around the country, everywhere around the world is using floats to catch fish effectively. And if you think about it, what is the purpose of the float, right? The purpose of the float is actually really simple. It allows you to put your bait of preference at a certain level of the water column, right? You adjust your float and then you change the length of your leader. You can place your bait at different levels of the water column. And one of the most effective ways of properly using a float is to make sure that your bait or whatever it is just a few inches above the bottom, where most species of fish are actually ready to feed. Taking this in consideration, a lot of float anglers out there, right, after using the float for a while, started to realize that there's a big problem when it comes to using the float. Float fishing works really well in areas that are really shallow. You go to your local pond and you fish an area like 3 to 4 feet deep, you know? You put a leader on, right, and you throw it out there, maybe 24, 36 inches. But the problem is, what are you going to do when you fish somewhere that is very deep? You know, when you fish a river or a reservoir that is like 15 feet deep, you are not going to put 15 feet of leader and throw a float out there so that your bait is just above the bottom, right? So certain anglers a little while ago came out with this wonderful rig called the bottom float rig. And the main idea was that you have your sinker all the way down there and you add a few floats to the rig so with your leader, right? So that your bait down there floats just a little bit above the bottom. And as it turns out, this turned out to be a wonderful idea, right? Because this is a highly effective rig that will help you catch fish. So in order for you to tie one of these rigs, there are 3 things that you need, okay? One is the sinker, and to tie this rig, I really like egg sinkers or split shots. Second one is the float, and for today we're using the best rigging floats right here. Cigar floats are really the best floats for this rig. And number 3, hooks. And of course the size and the shapes of your hooks is going to depend on what species of fish you want to catch, right? For today I'm using the best hooks in different sizes. There are 2 different rigs that I really like. I mean, 2 different versions of this rig that I really like. The first one is the Sleep Sinker setup rig I have here in my hands ready. You just got the sinker, swivel, and then you tie on your leader, right? With your floats, a little float stopper, and your hook. So that when you cast this thing down there, it's all the way down, and this is going to float, right? Your bait is gonna be above the bottom. This is a really good rig when you are fishing places that are not very snaggy, or a really good rig when you are using a bait feeder, for example, because as soon as the fish gets your bait, the line goes, but your sinker stays, right? The second type that I really like is a variation, and it uses split shots. Split shots with a float stopper, and hook. And this variation is actually really good when you are fishing areas that are very snaggy, okay? Especially around structure and my favorite, bridge pilings. That's because when you put this down there and your bait is floating, the fish takes the bait, right? And you may lose a few split shots. but your line it still gets out of there, so you're still able to recover your rig and catch the fish. So anyways, right, this is it for this video. I hope you guys learn a lot about it. I hope you guys learn how to properly tie one of these rigs, because it does really catch a fish, okay? Don't forget to drop a subscribe here to the Mystery Tackle Box channel so that you can get notifications for future videos. Tie lines, fellas, and take it easy.